welcome back to Farm Wife Life. So tonight for supper I am going to be making round steak, and I thought I'd bring you along to show you how I like to make my round steak because it's delicious and everyone needs to know how to make this recipe. So simple, so easy. I actually work from home, so this is one of those meals that I start prepping when I'm on my afternoon 15-minute break, and then it cooks in the oven, and it's so nice and simple to get things going before, you know, the stress of getting off work, getting the kids. This way supper is already prepped. So let me show you how I make my round steak because you guys are gonna want this recipe. So come along and watch.
Okay, first things first. When you cook with round steak, you want to make sure that they are tenderized. Now we get our beef in bulk, so all of mine came packaged this way. So even though they already came tenderized, I like to just double check, make sure that they're nice and tender. So I actually just unfold the meat, as you can see, and leave it in the paper wrapping. I then get some clear plastic wrap and I throw it over top of the meat and then beat the heck out of it and tenderize it again. Just like I said, that's the trick with cooking round steak. You want to make sure that it's nice and tender. Next, you want to just put a nice flour coating over top of the meat. I just do a simple flour with salt and pepper. I like to keep it simple because you can always add more seasoning when you're making your gravy. Next, I throw about a half a stick of butter in the pan. I'm gonna have about 2 rounds of frying these steaks, so that'll definitely be enough butter.
Okay, so quick note, while the round steak is starting to fry up in the pan, I'm currently out of my beef stock. So I am going to use my handy dandy dried powder stuff. If you've seen my Azure Standard videos before, you know I love their beef and chicken broth that comes dried. I throw mine in the mason jar, I roll up the ingredients on top. It's just 1 teaspoon of the broth to 1 cup of warm water, and there you go. When I'm making a gravy, you don't need a lot of broth. So that's what I really like these for. When you just need that quick cup of broth, that way you don't have to waste a whole jar of your homemade broth, this is an excellent way to go. So make sure you guys are getting this if you order from Azure.
Now I fry these for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. You can start to see the nice golden edges of it, and that means it's time to flip them. Once I get the meat out of the pan, I throw in an onion and about 3 cloves of garlic. I like to saute these in the exact same pan, and then once they've cooked and caramelized for a few minutes, then you're going to throw about 1/4 cup of flour over top. You're going to want to make sure to continue to stir this and cook that flour for at least a minute. You're going to add your 1 cup of beef broth, and then once you get that stirred in, I also throw in 1 cup of whole milk. Down to the right consistency for as thick as you would like it, I add in about 1 tablespoon of parsley and salt and pepper to taste. Now this is actually the last of my parsley from my garden last summer, so I'm just going to dump it all in. Might be a little bit more than a tablespoon. Once your gravy is done, you're going to just dump it right over the meat in your pan. This is going to cook at 325 degrees for about an hour. Round steak is a little bit of a tougher cut, so you're definitely going to want to cook it for a lower temperature for a longer time. That's going to really help soften up the meat. does that look. And then you get plenty of gravy at the bottom of the pan that I like to make mashed potatoes and use that gravy over top of it.
Is it so good?